What if I told you that being magnetic has nothing to do with attracting everyone and everything to do with boldly and apologetically turning away the ones who were never meant for you? Everything we've ever been taught, every social cue we've ever picked up tells us the exact opposite. We're told to be agreeable, to be accommodating, to be nice, to fit in, smooth over rough edges, to be harmless. We're constantly striving to expand our circle, to be accepted by more people, to get more likes, more followers, more friends. And for so long, I bought into that too. I genuinely thought that the more universally liked I was, the more successful, the more fulfilled, the more magnetic I'd be. But hear me out, and I want you to really lean into this. What if all that effort to please everyone is actually making you less magnetic? What if it's diluting your unique essence, leaving you feeling drained, unheard, and ultimately invisible to the very people you're meant to connect with? The paradox is this: the more you repel, the more you attract. Not just anyone, but the right people, the people who truly see you, celebrate you. We're going to dive deep into why this seemingly backward idea is actually the secret to unlocking the most authentic, powerful, and yes, truly magnetic self. Prepare to have your perspective totally flipped, because by the end of this, you'll understand why saying no can be your biggest yes, and why being disliked by some is often the clearest sign you're doing something right. So let's define what we're even talking about here. When you hear magnetism, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's that effortlessly charming person, the one who walks into a room and everyone instantly gravitates towards them. They're usually witty, polite, seem to get along with everyone, and that is a form of attraction for sure. But that kind of broad, surface-level charm, while pleasant, often lacks depth. It's like a wide, shallow river. It touches many banks, but it doesn't run very deep. True magnetism isn't being universally appealing. It's authenticity. It's being so deeply and apologetically you that you naturally create a strong gravitational pull for those who align with your truth, and an equally natural, effortless push for those who don't. Think of it like a finely tuned radio frequency. When you broadcast your unique station clearly, only the radius tuned to your frequency will pick you up loud and clear. Everyone else will just hear static or nothing at all. And that's exactly what we want. Let's look at some examples to really drive this home. Take someone like Taylor Swift, one of the most successful artists of our time, and also one of the most debated. Her music, her image, the way she tells stories through lyrics, it's sharp, emotional, calculated, and deeply personal. And while millions adore her, connect with her honesty, her vulnerability, her ability to turn heartbreak into power, others will roll their eyes, call her manipulative, accuse her of playing the victim. But that's exactly the point. She's not trying to be neutral. She leans fully into her identity, her narrative, her style, and in doing so, she polarizes. And yet, her fans are fiercely loyal. They feel represented by her, protected by her, seen. The same goes for Kim Kardashian, arguably one of the most famous women on the planet and one of the most polarizing. People either idolize her as a business genius, a beauty icon, an icon of female power, or they mock her, judge her, dismiss her as superficial or famous for nothing. But that level of reaction, that intensity of love and criticism, that is magnetism. She doesn't shrink herself to please everyone. She builds her empire, owns her image, reinvents herself, and lets the world react however it wants, because people like her and people like Taylor know the truth. When you choose to be fully seen, you also choose to be misunderstood. And that's the price and the power of being magnetic. It's not just celebrities though. Think about the online space. You've probably seen those super niche YouTubers or TikTok creators. There's a guy who just reviews historical documentaries from the 70s, or a woman who only teaches people how to embroider fantastical creatures onto denim jackets. These aren't channels with tens of millions of subscribers, but their small, dedicated audiences are fiercely engaged. They comment on every video, they join Patreon, they buy the merch. Why? Because the creator isn't trying to appeal to everyone interested in documentaries or or everyone who likes crafts. They've honed in on something so specific, so them, that they've created a magnetic field for a very particular kind of person. They thrive by not appealing to everyone, by actively, even if unconsciously, repelling the casual viewer who isn't interested in that specific niche. And on a more personal level, I've definitely lived this. For years, I was such a people pleaser. I wanted everyone to like me. I'd laugh at jokes I didn't find funny, agree with opinions I secretly disagreed with, bend over backward to accommodate plans that didn't work for me. You know what happened? I ended up feeling invisible. I was a chameleon, changing my colors to blend into every environment, and in doing so, I lost my own distinct shape. The friendships I had felt superficial, and I was constantly exhausted trying to keep up the. It wasn't until I started leaning into my own weirdness, my own strong opinions, that the people who truly saw me and who genuinely liked me started to show up. And the people who didn't, they just faded away. And honestly, it was such a relief. From a psychological standpoint, this all ties back to concepts like confidence and boundaries. When you're confident in who you are, what you value, and what you deserve, you naturally set boundaries. You understand that your time, energy, and emotional space are precious. You're not afraid to say what you think, or to say no to things that don't serve you, or to people who drain you. These boundaries aren't walls built to keep everyone out. They're filters designed to keep the wrong things out and to define the space where the right connections can thrive. Think about it like this, from the perspective of The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. She talks about charisma being a blend of presence, power, and warmth. Most people focus on the warmth and presence, but power is crucial. Part of having power is knowing what you don't tolerate. It's about having a strong center, a solid sense of self that isn't easily swayed or diminished. If you're constantly trying to be agreeable, you lack that crucial element of power. You become harmless. And I don't mean harmless in a sweet, innocent way. When you're harmless, you're a doormat. You're easily exploited, easily taken advantage of, easily dismissed. And doormats don't attract deep respect, genuine admiration, or lasting, meaningful connection. They attract people who need a doormat, which, trust me, you are not. So why is this repulsion aspect not just okay, but absolutely fundamentally necessary for true magnetism? Let's break it down into 3 key reasons. First off, authenticity. This is the bedrock of everything. You simply cannot be genuinely yourself if you're constantly shape-shifting to fit different people's expectations. Imagine trying to be both a hardcore metalhead, a classical ballet dancer, and a competitive chess player simultaneously, trying to genuinely embody each persona for different groups of friends all day, every day. It's exhausting. And eventually you lose sight of who you actually are beneath all those different masks. When you dilute your unique essence to be for everyone, you become a watered down version of yourself, like a delicious potent espresso that you keep adding water to until it's just flavorless brown liquid. No one is going to rave about that. No one is going to remember that. When you truly embrace your unique flavor, your quirks, your strong opinions, your passions, your boundaries, you become more powerful, more memorable, and more magnetic to the people who truly resonate with that flavor. They taste your essence and they crave more. Secondly, and this is a massive one, is energy protection. Think about how much energy it takes to manage relationships with people who drain you. You know the ones, the constant complainers who never seek solutions, the emotional vampires who only call when they need something, the critics who find fault in everything you do, the friends who constantly bring negativity or drama into your life. It's not just mentally exhausting, it's physically draining. You leave interactions with them feeling zapped, resentful, and sometimes questioning your own worth. When you don't repel these draining forces, you're essentially leaving the door wide open for them to siphon off your vital energy. You're pouring your precious fuel into leaky buckets. But when you start to naturally or even intentionally repel these draining forces, By setting boundaries, by saying no, by simply creating distance, you free up an immense amount of mental, emotional, and even physical space. That space, that newfound energy, can then be filled with people who uplift you, who understand you, who genuinely support you. It allows you to invest in yourself, in your passions, in your true connections. Think of it as the opportunity cost of holding on to misaligned relationships. Every moment you spend trying to appease someone who doesn't get you is a moment you're not spending building with someone who does. And finally, there's this fascinating concept of social proof through polarization. Think again about those brands or figures that people either passionately love or passionately hate. Apple, for example, their users are often fiercely loyal, almost evangelical in their devotion. Why? Because Apple is not trying to be everything to everyone. They have a distinct philosophy, a distinct aesthetic, a distinct user experience. If you're into it, you're really into it. And if you're not, you might even actively dislike them. That strong loyalty among their fans comes precisely from the fact that Apple is not vanilla. They're a strong flavor. When you polarize, you create stronger loyalty among your true tribe because they feel like they're part of something special, something not everyone understands or appreciates. Your haters, in a weird way, actually confirm that you're doing something interesting, something with a pulse. If no one has a strong opinion about you either way, you're probably bland. Being disliked by some is often a sign that you have a strong enough flavor that people are actually tasting it. Let's revisit that visual metaphor of you as a magnet with all these different metal filings around you. When you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're like a weak magnet, vaguely waving over a pile of mixed materials. A few things might weakly cling, but nothing strong, nothing deliberate. But when you align yourself strongly, when you know what you're attracted to, your true connections, your passions, and what you're not, the negativity, the people pleasing, you automatically pick up all the little iron filings that are just right for you. They snap into place, creating a strong, cohesive whole. And just as powerfully, you effortlessly push away the ones that aren't a fit. You're not trying to force the wrong filings to stick. You're just being a clear, powerful magnet, and the right ones naturally come to you, while the wrong ones are repelled. It's an active, powerful process of discernment. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you become this powerful, discerning magnet? It takes practice, self-awareness, and a little bit of courage. Step 1, stand for something. This is absolutely foundational. You can't repel what you don't define. What do you believe in? What are your core values? What are your non-negotiables in life? In relationships, in work? What are your opinions on things that truly matter to you, even if they're a little controversial or go against the grain? This is not being aggressive or argumentative for the sake of it. It's having a clear, articulated stance. How to find your stance? This requires self-reflection. Spend some time journaling. What genuinely excites you? What makes you angry or frustrated? What causes do you care about? What kind of world do you want to live in? For example, maybe you're super passionate about ethical consumerism and you're not afraid to share your thoughts on the impact of fast fashion. Some people might roll their eyes or even unfollow you, but others will absolutely connect with that passion, resonate with your values, and admire your conviction. If you're a content creator, this is your unique editorial voice. If you're in a friend group, it could be standing up for what's right, even if it's unpopular. This takes courage. Step 2, embrace rejection as redirection. This is probably the hardest step for many of us because we're wired to seek acceptance. But let me tell you, rejection is not failure. It's redirection. It's data. When I first started putting my creative work out into the world, I was terrified of criticism. I tried to make my content appeal to the widest audience possible, watering down my unique voice. And guess what? My engagement was lukewarm. It was only when I decided to lean into my own specific, sometimes controversial takes on things, the stuff I really cared about, even if I knew some people wouldn't get it, that my audience actually started to grow and become deeply engaged. The people who weren't a fit naturally drifted away like leaves on a river, and the people who were a fit showed up in droves, hungry for more of what I was offering. It felt scary at first, like I was shrinking my potential audience, but it actually expanded my true impact on the quality of my connections. Think of rejection in different contexts. A job interview you didn't get, it wasn't the right fit for you. A friendship that ended, it created space for deeper connections. A social media post that lost you followers, good, they weren't your true audience anyway. Embrace that feeling. See it as the universe giving you a gentle nudge in a more aligned direction. Every no you receive or every no you proactively elicit is a step closer to a more resonant yes. Step 3, boundaries as filters. This is the most actionable and arguably the most powerful step you can take right now. Learn to say no. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone a lengthy explanation or an apology for protecting your time, energy, and peace. How to set boundaries? It starts with knowing your limits. When you feel that gut feeling of dread or resentment about a request, that's your internal boundary alarm. Then communicate it clearly, kindly, but firmly. Instead of, I'm so sorry, I really wish I could, but my cat just developed a strange allergy, or blah, blah, blah. Try, no, that doesn't work for me. Or, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not able to commit to that right now. Or, my capacity is full. You don't have to be aggressive. You can be calm and direct. Be prepared, because some people will respect it immediately, and they are your people. Others will push back, try to guilt trip you, or even get angry. These are the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries, and their reaction is not about you, it's about them losing their access to your unregulated resources. Their pushback confirms you're doing something right. When you consistently say no to what doesn't serve you, you're not only protecting your own well-being, you're also attracting respect. People learn that your time and energy are valuable and they will value them more. It's amazing how quickly people learn to respect your boundaries once you start setting them firmly. Step 4, own your niche. This goes hand in hand with standing for something. It's leaning into your specific unique interests and passions. The narrower your focus, the deeper your connection can be with the people who share that passion. How to discover your niche? What are you obsessed with that others might find a bit odd? What problems do you uniquely solve? Lean into that. That's your goal. Think about the depth of connection versus the breadth. When you're super niche, you might not have millions of followers, but the followers you do have are incredibly dedicated. They'll comment on every post, they'll show up to your live streams, they'll buy your products, they'll feel a genuine connection because you're speaking directly to their specific interest. This is the famous 1000 True Fans concept by Kevin Kelly. He argues that an artist or creator needs only 1000 true fans to make a living. True fan is someone who will buy anything you produce, they will drive 200 miles to see you sing, they will buy the deluxe version of your stuff, they have a connection with you, and 1,000 of those fans are infinitely more valuable than 100,000 casual followers who might barely notice you exist. Owning your niche allows you to cultivate those true fans, those deeply aligned connections. What you need to understand is that scarcity creates value. Think about it. A mass-produced item is less valuable than a limited edition piece. Diamonds are valuable because they are rare. The same goes for your energy, your time, and your connections. It's far, far better to have 100 true fans, 100 people who genuinely understand, appreciate, and support you than 10,000 indifferent ones who barely know you exist. Isn't this just being arrogant or exclusive? Am I just going to turn into a snob? Absolutely not. This isn't about superiority or looking down on others. It's about knowing who you are and what you need to thrive. Authenticity is never arrogance. It's an act of self-love and and self-preservation. You're not shutting people out of spite. You're simply creating a clear boundary between what nurtures your soul and what doesn't. You're making space for your right people. Here's my final challenge for you, and it's a powerful one. Who are you willing to repel to attract your right people? What old habits, what draining relationships, what outdated beliefs are you ready to let go of to truly embrace your unique magnetic force? I want to hear from you in the comments below. This is a brave space, a space for growth and authenticity. Tell me what's someone or something you're proud to repel. Maybe it's people pleasing, maybe it's a toxic gossip, maybe it's a specific kind of negativity or a draining obligation. Share your commitment and let's create a community where we celebrate being unapologetically ourselves, even if it means not everyone gets us. You are so much more magnetic than you know. Go out there and radiate your true self. This is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.